Hey, what's up guys, welcome back to another video. In today's video I will be showing you guys some Great League battles with this new team I created and getting a 5-win with it. Please stick around to the end, and with that being said, let's get on with today's video. Alright guys, so for the first round, my opponent's first Pokemon is a Stunfisk. This is not a bad matchup because Stunfisk's Discharge is an electric type move and he has an electric type fast move. And electric is super effective against water types, but Discharge won't do as much damage as super effective damage would do because, yeah, Azumaril is just really buff, and I ended up taking the hit here. So he mirrored me and took the hit as well, but my Ice Beam did a lot of damage. So right here, I decided to shield because my Azumaril has a lot of health and it's about to get an Ice Beam. An Ice Beam could come in handy for his next few Pokemon. So for his second Pokemon, he takes out Donphan. I haven't really seen Donphan in the Great League, so that's really cool. But I'm guessing his charge moves might be Stone Edge or Ground or Rock type moves. But he ended up swapping out to Umbreon, and Umbreon counters both my Marowak, since Marowak is a fire and ghost type Pokemon and dark types are super effective against ghost types. But I end up making the mistake here because the mistake wasn't swapping out to Toxicroak, the mistake was using the wrong moveset. I made the mistake by using Poison Jab instead of Counter. The reason I swapped out to Toxicroak was the reason because Dark is not very effective against fighting types, while Fighting is super effective against Dark types. So I swapped out to Toxicroak, but I had a Poison type move instead of a Fighting type move. So I didn't do as much damage as my Mud Bomb expected to be, and my Poison Jab barely did any damage. So I end up letting him go, and I swap out to Azumaril since Dark is not very effective against Fairy types, and yeah. So I loaded another Ice Beam right here, and I think I end up taking him out. Oh, Umbreon is really strong. He has really good health and really good defense, so you guys should consider using him because he's really good in the Great League battle. I think he's also one of the top metas right now for Great League. So I decided to swap out to Marowak early to get the extra energy, because I know that his final Pokemon is Donphan and my Azumaril is about to die like one hit. So I had to get more energy. But I end up making the mistake here by using Bone Club instead of Shadow Ball because I thought that he had no shield, so I tried to shield bait. But Bone Club did neutral damage and Shadow Ball did neutral damage. But Shadow Ball is just a stronger charge move, so I end up taking the win here. Good game to my opponent. Alright guys, for the second round, I finally switched my Toxicroak's fast move to Counter. But we also had a really good start right here because he had Steelix as his first Pokemon. And Steelix is a grounded metal type Pokemon, meaning I do super effective damage. But for his second Pokemon, he decides to swap out to Victini. And Victini is a fire and psychic type Pokemon, which is still really good for me because fire is not very effective against water types, and water is not very effective against, water is super effective against fire types. So I make a mistake by shielding that V-Crit. I thought that it would do more damage, but it barely did any. So I decided to farm down right here because my Bubble is taking out Trunks since he has a defense debuff from the V-Crit. So he swaps back out to, I think it's Slowbro or Slowking. Yeah, Slowking. But both of us will do neutral not very effective damage since water is not very effective against water. But if you guys want to use this team as a permanent team, I recommend double moving some of these Pokemon. Like right here, a Playrough would be good because Playrough would do neutral damage, but I only had Ice Beam, so Ice Beam did not very effective damage. So I just had to swap out to Alolan Marowak. But since Slowking is a water type and water and psychic type move, Pokemon, the best swap would have been to Marowak since Ghost is super effective against psychic types. But my Fire Spin fast move did not very effective damage to him. But I ended up getting a really good hit and I ended up fainting him right here. So for his final Pokemon, it's Steelix. My Toxical could handle him fairly well because I finally swapped my fast move to counter. So Steelix is a metal and ground type Pokemon, meaning fighting does super effective damage to metal types, and my Mud Bomb does super effective damage since ground is super effective against metal, and I ended up taking the second win. For the third round, my opponent's first Pokemon is a Wigglytuff. So Wigglytuff is a fairy and normal type Pokemon. So both of us will do neutral damage, but I think it takes eight fast move attacks to get to Ice Beam or his Playrough. So since it takes so long, I decided to swap out to Marowak to get ahead on energy since I already farmed down some energy. So for my Azumaril, so I already have an Ice Beam in the back, but he ended up swapping out to Altaria, and Altaria is kind of counters Marowak because fire types do not very effective damage to dragon types. Yeah, so this is okay because I got a really good hit with my Shadow Ball. It did a good chunk of damage, and yeah, I decided to use my Bone Club right here to try and get another shield bait, to try to do a shield bait, and it ended up working. So I'm ahead with one shield and almost basically 2 full Pokemon. So this was really good for me because I made the really good play for Azumaril farming down his Wigglytuff for an Ice Beam. So instead of saving it up right here, I didn't want to risk getting hit with a Sky Attack. So I just decided to throw the Ice Beam in. So he swaps out to his second Pokemon. He's taking so long. Swaps out to his second Pokemon, Marowak. This is another really good matchup because, as you know, Marowak is a fire and ghost type Pokemon, and water is super effective against fire types. So this is also really good once again. So I ended up getting another Ice Beam off, which he most likely will not shield because I think he knows I only have one charge move, which is Ice Beam. So I think he went AFK for how long this thing is loading. Let's see. Oh, he went AFK. So I'll just skip this part. But good game to my opponent right here. For the fourth round, I got another really good matchup with Obstagoon. I'm getting really good matchups today, so this team will do good against rough situations like a Victory Bell, but right now I'm just getting really good matchups. So Obstagoon is a dark and normal type Pokemon, and dark is not very effective against fairy types. And for his Obstagoon's fast move, it's counter, and counter is a fighting type move, which is not very effective against fairy types. So he also got a attack increase with that Night Slash because there's a small chance. So he did a little bit more damage because he does not very effective damage. But for his second Pokemon, it's a Marowak. So Marowak is a fire and ghost type Pokemon still. So both of us will do, I would do super effective damage, while he would do not very effective damage. So there's really nothing to swap out to. I could swap out to Toxicroak, but it would just be a waste because Toxicroak's counter attack does not very effective damage against ghost types, but his Mud Bomb could do lots of damage like chunks. It will do lots of damage, but I just decided to stick it right here. But yeah, so this team is really good. Like Azumaril is just a really troll Pokemon in the Great League. I know a lot of people have disliked Azumaril in the Great League because of how strong it is. Like in the Halloween Cup, people were really happy because Azumaril got banned for the Halloween Cup, I think. But yeah, so this team is really good for Pokemon like Stunfisk, both Stunfisk Galarian and Stunfisk regular, Bastiodon and more. But for his second Pokemon, it's Whiscash. So Whiscash is a water and ground type Pokemon, but since he has no shields, I could just go for the Shadow Ball right here. So that's what I decided to do. Bone Club and Shadow Ball would do neutral damage, but Shadow Ball is still just a stronger move in general. So I decided to throw the Shadow Ball in. Boom! Took out Chunks. Took out like half of his health, I think. So from his charge move last time, it's gonna be another Water Pulse, but Water Pulse won't take him out. Let's go. So my Bone Club won't do as much damage as I thought it would, so it didn't faint him, but it was okay because my Toxicroak had a chance to farm him up for his final Pokemon, which is Obstagoon. So Obstagoon is still a dark and normal type Pokemon, and dark types are not very effective against fighting types. But this is why Toxicroak is good, because it's a really good counter against Scrafties, Obstagoons, Bastiodons, and things like that for his fighting and poison type moves. Toxicroak, if you have double moves, you can get a Sludge Bomb, and it could easily take out Azumaril, but we end up taking the 4th round win, and yeah. Alright guys, for the 5th and final round, my opponent's first Pokemon is Primeape. Usually I don't see a Primeape in the Great Battle League, but I guess he decided to switch things up. But I counted his Primeape, so he decided to swap out to Azumaril. So Azumaril is a water and fairy type Pokemon. And I think, I decided to switch out to Marowak. But you guys might be thinking Marowak is a bad swap. But because I have Shadow Ball, I double move my Marowak and have a Shadow Ball. It will do a good amount of damage. Look, you'll see it here right when I get it. Yep, right here. It's fully charged up. But Shadow Ball would do neutral damage to Azumaril since Shadow Ball is neutral against water and fairy. But he ended up shielding right there, so you guys couldn't see it. But I decided not to shield here because Ice Beam or Play Rough would do not very effective damage due to Marowak's fire type. So yeah. So I throw off another Shadow Ball right here. I don't think he's gonna shield this one, but you guys see. Dang, but that took out like 40% of his health. Yeah, but look at his health compared to Marowak's. Marowak was about to faint him, but I decided to swap out back to Azumaril because although both of us do neutral damage and I have an Ice Beam, I could bubble him down. It would take really long and I would be left with no HP since he has a Play Rough ready. But it would be worth it because I would have 2 Ice Beams ready after all of his attacks. And I think for his second attack right here, for his third player off actually, I decided to shield here since I already have almost 2 ice beam stacks because it's at the limit already. So I end up taking him out finally. And then what does he swap out to? But Ice Beam is, I don't know which move you should have if you don't double move. I think I'd say the double moves would be Ice Beam and Play Rough maybe. But my Ice Beam right here did a lot of damage to his Primeape. Like 55% of its health is gone. Now he's fainted. So his final Pokemon is Castfoot. So guys, since you saw him swap out to Primeape, even though you know Azumaril counters Primeape, they know that. But that means that they have another Pokemon in the back that Azumaril will counter. That's why he swapped out to Primeape. So that makes me think that. So like when I was playing this, it made me think that he had a Fire type or a Ground type, and Toxicroak wouldn't do good against the Ground type, but really good against a Fire type. And in this case, he had a Fire type move, which was really good. So I ended up taking the 5th and final win, allowing me to get a 5 win. So thank you guys for watching today's video. Comment down below if you watched out all the way to the end. Please consider showing your support. And with that being said, I'll see you guys on the next video.